I think because we think about it in sports, top 50 sounds like a huge thing.
Is he better than Joe Budden?
Joe Budden's not top 50. Look at what you're naming. Joe Budden and Juice World? Like, what are we doing here? What? This guy...
What's happening, people? We're back. This is Sound Bites, the portion of album mode where we talk about the news, the culture, the news about the culture, and everything in between. It's here with me, Démar Grant, a.k.a. King Grant, and here with Adriel Smiley, a.k.a. Adriel Smiley Official, a.k.a. The Godfather, a.k.a. The Adriel Smiley.
Yes.
Adriel Smiley, and our producer, Chris, a.k.a. Patient Zero. We are back. Mm-hmm. This time we're talking about Mac Demarco.
Your boy.
Okay. That's aggressive. That's aggressive. Mac Demarco dropped this 199 song album.
9 hours, 30 minutes. It's called One Wayne G. It's actually out right now.
Why? Why does this exist? I don't know. But how do you feel? Like, what are your thoughts about the idea of 199 songs coming out?
Before I even say anything, I want to say this album actually has a lot of plays. The first, I would say 40 or 50 songs all have between 100,000 plays and 900,000 plays.
Yeah.
And then once you get down to the bottom, it kind of,
starts to wane,
30,000, 50,000. But how do I feel about this? Here's my thing. I'm always the fan of more music. I don't love long albums, and this is like the longest album ever. But I'm always a fan of more music because when you like an artist, you want to hear more from them.
Absolutely.
That's just always how it is. If I like an artist, I'm not like, you know what I would love is for my favorite artist to just not put music out. No one says that. So I'm sure there are some Mac Demarco fans that just have this playing and running. But I think that a 200-song album is like a statement more than anything.
Right.
I don't think this is a real musical play here. I'm sure there's heat on this, and if anyone hasn't seen it,
there is one track that I would say.
Oh, you listen to it?
Well, no, not all of it. I have listened to a few, but I did hear a song particularly because there's this one interview that Mac Demarco did. He's Canadian, by the way, from Vancouver, I think. Where he was just in an interview and like he was like, oh yeah, he's looking through all these files in his studio, and then he starts playing this one song. It's like do 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 do, and I was like, and then he's like, oh yeah, this is like it's garbage, but it's fun to make.
Oh, I know the interview
that song is on here, so I was like, so I actually tried to look it up. Well, I looked it up just to see if it was on here, and I'm like, holy shit, it actually is, and that shit bangs.
So you're down with the 200-song album?
No, I just wanted the one song. That's all I wanted. It's 2019-07-24 is the name of it.
Before let me find it and save it before. Oh wait, I think it's one of the most plays. That's a minute 10.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I like this idea because all the songs this is basically his folder. He emptied his folder.
Yeah, for sure.
All these songs are named by their dates. Some of them have names, like it will be like 2019, 1010, don't doubt about it. So like a few of them have names, but he just emptied his folder here. It's so interesting because Mac Demarco has this personality that people see that a lot of people don't like. It rubs a lot of people the wrong way. It's kind of a very elitist attitude.
Yeah.
I would say very pretentious.
Yep.
And I think that it's funny because a lot of fans are asking for this from their favorite artists. They want their favorite artists to empty their whole hard drive. And so Mac Demarco finally did it. There's a song on here before we move on that's 22 minutes. 22
What is that,
minutes.
3X pyramid?
And my thing is this is like, I just want to know how this is going to age. That's my thing. I think this is going to age well because I can totally see this being like, some department store. This is all they play. Like they just put this on repeat and it's like, okay, he's not going to swear. It's going to be some cool chords.
Yeah. Some of it's instrumental too. Most of it's instrumental.
Yeah, most of it's probably instrumental. So yeah. I think it's going to age well. I don't love this, and I think 200 is obviously 199 is obviously way too much.
Yeah.
But I do think this is going to age well, and people are clearly listening to it, so it's not a total flop.
Here's my thing. Is it possible to drop too much music?
Depends who you ask. That's my thing. It depends who you ask. Because like I said, if you're a fan of the artist,
right,
you always want more music.
Right.
So if we're on the periphery of the fan base, maybe we'll be annoyed and we'll tweet about it and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But if the fans love it, they pay the bills. So
that's true.
I think the answer ultimately is no. If the fans are into it, if the fans are saying Meek Mill, we have enough.
Yeah.
Take some time off. Different story. But if the fans are like, every time you drop, it's download right away, then
yeah, because then the reason I asked that is because NBA Youngboy, is a demon. Dropping music it feels like every month a new album. I know. That's why part of the reason why I brought this up. And we're sticking to what we said early in the album mode days. Unless the music is actually changing in some sort of direction, we are not reviewing Youngboy's music because we know exactly what it sounds like. And we don't need to review it all the time. But I was just thinking, it's like, you can get to a point where you drop so much music where it starts to dilute your quality of like the stuff that you do. So for this, I'm just like, is it possible to drop like 199 songs? Like most people don't even have 199 songs in their entire fucking catalog.
It's crazy,
right? And for you to drop that, which is like 9 hours of music, is insanity.
I think ultimately this will age well and work out because I can't imagine he has much left. I can't imagine he has.
Oh, you think he might be done?
Not done making music, but this is part of whatever time, 2018 till now. So past 5 years, this is what he's working on. This is kind of the vibe he was in. This is like, okay, we're done with this now.
Yeah, okay.
So next, whatever he does next, I think will deviate a bit from what we know from Mac Demarco.
Right.
Because if you give us 200 of the same sound, the next thing we got to hear is gonna be a little different. So I think that's true. I think that's a positive. If I'm thinking optimistically, that it's gonna be something different going forward than what we've heard from him.
Okay.
Traditionally.
Yeah, because I think when you drop a ton of music, you kind of just start to paint yourself into a corner where now you have, like you mentioned, it's like now you kind of have to do something different because I now have 12 hours worth of Mac Demarco music or 13, 14 hours of Mac Demarco music. I know exactly what this all sounds like. It's kind of like, I don't know, it seems to me, if he was going to ask me, I would be like, this is kind of a mistake, I feel like, to do this.
No, I think it's a tricky move. I think it also splits the fan base. Like we're going to talk about a little bit later in terms of Pusha and Jim Jones of like a split fan base, but I can't imagine all the Mac Demarco fans are listening to this project.
Yeah, there's no way.
I didn't listen to this project, and I love Mac Demarco.
Right.
So it's like he also split the fan base in terms of like this huge project you dropped. I'm sure plenty of your fans did not listen to it at all.
Facts.
Yeah. And so and that way you're alienating some of your fans. But like I said, the hardcore fans are the ones who pay the bills. So
yeah, but it's also like you're putting up this huge obelisk in the way of like a casual fan. Like if somebody doesn't like Mac DeMarco, they're never gonna play this. Or they might play it and then be like, holy shit, there's 199 songs in this. Like
that's why I think it's gonna age well, because I think he's in that space where he's gotten so popular to the masses, but I think he's always been, not worried about the masses, not trying to appeal. That's he's never been him. Yeah. He's just gotten so popular with his crowd that everyone knows who he is.
Yeah.
But that's never been his energy. So it's like, who is he turning away with this project? Honestly, if you weren't a Mac DeMarco fan already, like when were you gonna become a Mac DeMarco fan?
Okay.
So yeah, I think it turned out okay. Let's pivot to hip hop, where this also happens a lot. Jim Jones recently said Pusha T is not in his top 50 rappers of all time.
Right.
Jim Jones has been on a run recently. This is his second appearance on Album Mode Deluxe Soundbites. So,
is it really?
Yeah, we talked about him with the Drake thing.
Yeah.
It was very brief, but we talked about it a little bit. But him saying Pusha T is not top 50. Yeah. I love this Pusha T because I think Pusha T is one of those people where either some people have him automatic in their top 50 or they got to think like, let's think about it and go through the people.
Yeah.
Jim Jones, his criteria, or him saying why it's not true, is can you sing 5 Pusha T songs?
Yeah.
Do you know 5 Pusha T songs?
Right. Does anybody dress like him? He also said that. It's like, does anybody dress like him? Does anybody actually like want to be him? Like one of the things that, two of the things he mentioned is like, do dudes want to be him?
Mm-hmm.
Do girls want to fuck him? And he was like, nobody wants to be Pusha T. And
I think that's factual.
so there's a bunch of things that he pointed to exclude him from the top 50.
Which side are you on?
I think Pusha T is probably top 50.
Because you're not a big Pusha T fan.
I'm not a big Pusha T fan because I think he's like one-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's an excellent lyricist.
Yes.
But outside of the fact that the words sound good in succession, I just think like, dude, you rap about one thing. You've been rapping about one thing since inception.
Yeah.
Right? And there's nothing that I'm like, oh wow, did you hear this or that? Like there's nothing that really
grabs you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a brilliant lyricist.
Mm.
He was also the person that came up with the McDonald's.
I should have brought my. I have It's Almost Dry on vinyl. I should have brought that.
Yeah, but see how you forgot. That's how. See how you forgot.
Jim is right.
Yeah, see, Jim is right. Okay, I think that Pusha T is overrated in the sphere of hip hop. I think that there is this crazy reverence for him, where I'm like, okay, well, on the realness is like Westside Gunn raps about the same shit as him, you know, like that whole Griselda group raps about the same shit as him, but they're not as revered as him. He's a better lyricist, but their music sound. I think Griselda's music sounds better, and that's coming from me, and I'm not a Griselda person.
Well, here's what I would say. I think Pusha T. I don't think he's overrated. I think he's properly rated. I think he's properly rated. I think he's put out a string of good albums since being a solo artist. Yeah. Which, you know, whatever it's been, 3-4 good albums in a row now. Mm-hmm. Hard to do for any artist, let alone someone coming from a group situation. And then as well, Pusha T, similar to Freddie Gibbs, he represents this kind of change in hip hop where he technically is talking about the drug street culture, but the drug street dudes aren't always the biggest Pusha T fans.
Right.
And that's something that is very, very new, where it's people who are on the internet more who are big Pusha T fans more than the drug street culture. And then as well, Pusha T is someone who is very critically acclaimed. Like everything he does is like, everyone kind of shines a light on it in terms of it's what you have to see in hip hop. And that's another divide because Jim Jones comes from the street culture being what defines what is popping and what's popular. Or
it has to play in the club. And Pusha T's music not playing in the club.
And that's what it is, because like I think if there was no internet, I don't think Pusha T is as big as he is. I think if everything is the same and it's still the street and the club deciding who's who, Pusha T is not that guy.
Right.
And so this divide is where Jim is talking about, where I think whenever we do a top 50 for the 50th anniversary, I think a lot of people who the internet is kind of propping up will make it over someone like Jim Jones is not even in this conversation at all, respectfully.
Yeah, respectfully.
But again, Pusha T comes from this era of not in the street, they're not playing him, they're not playing him in the club, but on the internet, he's the guy that you mentioned when you say you like lyrics. So which is so weird because I feel like he is not courting those people like as a person, you know? Yeah, and I think this is the divide because here's what I say. A lot of times the group that is I would say the critically acclaimed group, the internet group, decides who is considered the actual best.
True.
I think someone like NBA Youngboy might have way more streams than Pusha T.
Facts. Yes.
But whoever is hot in the street is not who we consider to actually be the best artists. And that is I think where someone like Jim Jones is playing catch up to. Where to him he's like, when I go outside, all I hear is Ice Spice. So, you know,
she has to be top right now.
You know, and it's like,
well, she is though.
she is, but it's like the NBA Youngboys of the world who are played in the street, played in the club, they're not the ones who we decide. We're like, when we talk about the Grammys and we say, oh, they got it right. Nas, Freddie Gibbs, like that part of the internet, Tyler, the streets, club, nothing to do with that. They're not even paying attention to that. They don't. And it's like there are people who still hold on to that old school way of thinking of, if I don't hear it in the club and I don't hear it on the block, then I don't know what it is. But it's the other side, the internet side, that is deciding what is actually credible, what is actually considered good art. And that's where Pusha T lies.
Yeah.
So Jim Jones is not wrong from his, criteria, so to speak.
Yeah, but he's using one measure as his entire purview, whereas that would be one of the measures.
That's like the leader in points per game wins MVP.
Yeah, it was like, wait, hold on, people rebound, assist? No, I think So I think that's exactly right. Personally, I'm still in the category that thinks Pusha T is overrated, just because he only raps about one thing. He only raps about one thing though, like one. For me, I would appreciate if my rappers rapped about multiple things, different things. Different styles of he has different styles of production, but it's like it's all strictly all strictly hip hop, Like you would never mistake a Pusha T being like, oh wow, there's some R&B elements in this. No.
Yeah.
So
Pusha T,
name 5 Pusha T songs.
Me? Yeah. Off the top? Oh my God.
Exactly.
No, I you know I can name them. You just put me on the spot. You know I can name 5 Pusha T songs. That's so funny. Yeah. Oh, you want me to rename?
Go ahead.
Wow. Man, now I'm really blanking. If you know, you know.
Okay.
What would Meek do? What's not Lost in Vegas? Lost in Vegas. Lost in Vegas. What other Pusha T songs do I listen to Pusha T often? The new Godflow count? New Godflow doesn't count, right?
Not really. That's a Kanye song, I think.
What other Pusha T songs do I listen to? Damn. Oh, Diet Coke. And the one with him and Malice, I forgot the name of it.
Is that Hard Piano?
Yeah.
I think it's Hard Piano. But see, like it's not as easy as one would think.
This is where hip hop is, man. It's we talked about the growth last week, and we're here talking about it again. It's those metrics of which do you weigh more in terms of deciding who's better and who's not. How again, in terms of rap skill, it's just subjective. Like there's so many good rappers. If you want to put Conway in your top 50 all time, who can rap better than Conway? You can do that. But it's like, are your metrics that this person has to be in the hood? This person has to be playing in the street. If we're going by those metrics,
his music charts too.
It does chart, but it's like those metrics, like Lil Durk should be way higher. One of the best-selling artists last year of any genre. Streets love him. So it's like, again, I would feel completely disrespectful putting Lil Durk ahead of Pusha T.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's a large group that has that. So it's like, which metrics do you hold true? I think we are more the metrics that have our artists seem credible more than hot.
Yeah.
I think that's more where we're at, but it depends.
Real quick, which new artists, let's say of the past, let's say 7 years.
Okay.
5-7 years. Let's do 2015.
Okay.
Who is new that is this person is top 50?
Is top 50?
Yeah.
There's no one new who's top 50.
There's nobody new that's top 50.
I don't even need to think about that. There's no one new who's top 50. In the past 7 years, no. Who do you have? Who do you think?
Juice WRLD?
No. Juice WRLD's not top 50.
You can't have Juice WRLD top 50?
Juice WRLD is not top 50. What? You're drinking you're drinking the juice.
Okay, so who are the newer artists that are top 50? I feel like
the Drake, Kanye, Coles.
That's it? There's nobody after that?
Kendrick.
Yeah.
Who's top 50? I here's my thing.
See what I'm saying?
I have my personal people that I put in top 50.
Is Tyler the Creator top 50?
Ooh. I don't think so.
Wow. Okay, that's a hot take. I think it is. I think it is Spice. He has 2 Grammys for rap album of the year.
Is Cardi B top 50?
No, but I would say Travis Scott is top 50 though.
Top 50 artists of all, are you thinking artist or rapper? Before you saying
okay, so
yeah, because Tyler the Creator, his top 50 resume would be over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
When, like I said, you wouldn't put someone in the Hall of Fame with 5 years of experience.
I don't know if they have 2 MVPs over 5 years. There hasn't been a single NBA player that hasn't. If they won an MVP, they've been in the Hall of Fame.
That's about to not be true. But yeah, Derrick Rose not going to the Hall of Fame.
But I would say Tyler is I think he's top 50, bro. He's doing like my number one thing with Tyler the Creator is that he raps about things other people are afraid to. Right? See, he raps about bisexuality, and that's not a thing.
No, for sure. He definitely has that. But I think that I have trouble putting new guys in the top 50 because how are we, ranking KRS-One? Mm-hmm. Like, how comfortable do you feel putting Tyler ahead of KRS-One? Like, how comfortable do you feel putting Tyler ahead of Rakim? How comfortable do you feel putting Tyler ahead of Raekwon and Ghost?
Okay, Rakim is like, we talked about Rakim on the last one, where Rakim is actually like closer to the top than even the middle.
But I've named 5 guys that a lot of people don't have in their top 10 at all.
Right.
So it's like this 50 gets crowded very fast when you include those guys. So it's like if all the guys I named are ahead of Tyler, then Tyler can we could think about putting him in there. But it's like Tyler obviously has reached heights that again Ghostface didn't reach, or Scarface didn't reach, or Guru didn't reach. But can I really put Tyler the Creator ahead of Ghostface Killah?
But he's top 50 though. That's what I'm saying. At least top 50. He's in the top 50.
But I'm saying I think we forget how many rappers are. Top 50 sounds like, I think because we think about it in sports, top 50 sounds like a huge thing.
Is he better than Joe Budden?
Joe Budden's not top 50. Look at what you're naming. Joe Budden and Juice WRLD? Like, what are we doing here? What? This guy... It's like we're talking about top 75 players all time, and I'm like, what about Terrence Ross? Like, what are we doing here? No. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up. There's no Joe Budden, no Juice WRLD. I think this is the way. We're looking at it two very different ways. I think you're just thinking like, whose name can you remember? Like, like
I'm not really including Joe Budden.
This guy said Joe Budden. That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
Oh my god, my stomach hurts. Oh man.
Thanks everyone for watching this episode of Soundbites. Démar has lost his mind, and hopefully he'll find it for our next episode. Make sure you follow us on all the interwebs. Instagram at Album Mode Pod, TikTok at Album Mode Pod, Twitter at Album Mode Pod, and of course YouTube at Album Mode Pod. Make sure you share, comment, and like, and subscribe. And of course, until next time, don't put Joe Budden in your top 50.
Tyler the Creator is top 50 though, later days.